Hello, everyone, and welcome back to the Digital Nomad World weekly series. I'm Becky, and I'll be your host. And today we're with my guest, Tricia Spencer, and she is a traveling tattoo artist. So we're going to learn more about what you can do traveling around the world, giving tattoos. So, Tricia, welcome to the show.
Thank you. Nice to be here.
Yeah, really nice to have this. We've never had a tattoo artist on our show, so we're really excited to hear how you make it work. So first of all, Tricia, can you tell us about your background and how you started your traveling journey?
Yeah, for sure. It started about 3 years ago when I decided to quit my job as a physical education teacher. And I always wanted to travel, but um, yeah, being a physical education teacher keeps you very grounded in a place. So taking that step boyfriend at the time, now husband, he could work from anywhere. So it started with me just quitting my job, and then this plan opened up to travel and to climb outdoors. Um, and then it just quickly started to roll into what can I do when I'm traveling if it's not a physical education teacher. And I've always loved drawing, so um I sort of rolled into the tattoo path, and it really all started when we moved away from Holland. We moved into a camper van. You can see my background. It's a motorhome. And we just started traveling around wherever there are rocks to climb, basically.
So cool. And I'm sure that you guys aren't alone. Like you have one person that is starting to work online, but you want to find out how you can do this together. And so have you always loved drawing? Have you been drawing since you were a little girl, or how has your journey with drawing been?
I mean, it's just something I started doing when I was little, and I always drew.
On.
I've always drawn.
Yeah.
Thank you. And it was kind of like an emotional outlet for me. But I think somewhere in my puberty, when you start to get like opinions on how to make a living, so I just got convinced I wasn't going to make any money out of it. So it sort of became like a hobby that grew smaller and smaller and smaller. And I focused on something that could give like a steady and safe income. But at some point, I was not really happy at my job, and I felt like I was too scared to pursue something that would actually make me happy. And at some point, I just realized whether it's going to work or not, I'm just going to try it and I'm going to go for it. And that's how I ended up here.
And how is it going? How do you feel since you've made this leap?
I'm living my dream, like literally. I'm so happy just traveling with like I feel like a turtle, like you just drive with your house, and whenever you want to stop, you just stop and everything's there. And with an amazing partner who's just caring and loving, and we make it work. I mean, it's a small space for two adults, but we're so good in communicating and giving each other space when we need it. And like a little, yeah, our dog as well. So it's really it's amazing to do this. And then the tattooing, I'll explain a little bit more later, but it goes a little bit slower because obviously it's easier if you're fixed in a place. You can build up clientele, you can work in a studio that knows you, that has like a regular clientele. So that goes slower, but I sort of exchanged a slower journey in tattooing for an amazing life with in a different country whenever we want to. We were in Bulgaria for 2 months, and we just arrived in Crete in Greece. So, I mean, yeah.
Wow. Yeah. And it sounds like you're so much closer to nature. And, you know,
Yeah.
I'm really interested in how you find these tattoo clients. Do you try to find tattoo studios that will let you work there for a day, or can you do it all from your mobile home?
So ideally, I find a studio, but it depends because So now we're in Crete for a little bit less than a month. So now I'm not promoting myself or finding clients here or studios. Now it's just like, yeah, just not tattooing and drawing designs and things like that. But when we were in Bansko, for example, 2 months, I promoted myself a little bit, explained I'm here, and then you get some clients. There was a tattoo studio, and I actually contacted them to tattoo from there, but in the end, it didn't work out. So I did it in an apartment. It's not ideal. I prefer tattooing from a studio because it's more clean, it's more professional, but it is possible. I've also done one or two tattoos in nature, like next to my van, and that's amazing, just like with mountains on the background, and that was really lovely. Yeah.
Well, that sounds
Do you have
incredible.
tattoos?
Yeah, okay, so Trisha, I am probably one of the, well, I could be the best host for you or the worst because I have no
Mhm.
tattoos, and I will explain
Mm.
why. I
Yeah.
moved to Japan when I was 22, and Japan's really strict about tattoos for gyms and also for the hot springs, which I love. So I actually stayed there for 13 years. So I was just like, I'm not going to have tattoos, but it is something I think I'm going to do in the future. And who knows, maybe from you because you're the first
Always
tattoo
welcome.
artist, yeah, I've interviewed. So
Yeah.
I have a lot of questions about this. I'm wondering, like, where do you get the supplies for the tattoo artistry? Do you buy them online? Do you buy them from a studio while you're traveling? How do you make that part work? How does it work?
Good question. Yeah. You find things out along the way, obviously. There are some supply shops especially in big cities, you can find a lot of things, and tattoo studios offer a lot. But I do prefer a certain type of needle now that I've tried like a few different ones, and you cannot find them everywhere. So I do stock up. I buy like a certain amount of sizes and I keep them like stored away. And whenever we are somewhere where we have an apartment or I can order something, I just order some extra. But a lot of the things you can find anywhere, or in tattoo studios. They have a lot as well.
What is your favorite type of needle? Is it a certain brand?
Yeah, it's a certain brand. It's I hope I'm gonna say this correct. Emilia needles. I got them through another artist who recommended them, and they work really well in combination with my machine, because all needles fit on all machines, but they just don't work perfectly together in a way. So these work very well together and they're very tight, so I can make like very nice solid lines with them, and I really like them.
Oh, that's great. So you need these needles. What else do you need as a traveling tattoo artist, supply wise?
Um, so I would say needles and machines. Those are the two big ones. You can either have like a coil that you need a electricity as well, but I have a pen, so it's a battery one. Um, and if you go to a studio, then they have the rest. So they have the cleaning materials, the chair, all those things. Um, if you're doing it like not in a studio, then you would need gloves and something to cover a chair or a table, things like that, and a lot of cleaning materials
Yeah, my
as
friend
well.
just got a tattoo recently, and I know you've got to put a cover
Mm.
on the tattoo for a few
Yeah,
days. That's
yeah,
important to
yeah.
have. Yeah.
And studios are clean, so like for hygiene, it's just better to do it in studios. So the one like outside, it was beautiful, but I wouldn't do a large piece outside because it's just not great for that.
Sure. And do you need a license to become a tattoo artist? This I'm also have no knowledge about. Like, how does this work? And can you give us some advice for someone who might be inspired by this podcast to start doing tattoos on their
Yeah,
own?
yeah. So it depends on the country, but there's not like a study or a license you have to get. It's a little bit of a, yeah, find it yourself journey. Although more and more studios offer like a trainee, or are like they are designed to like teach newcomers how to tattoo. There are also a few online courses that you can follow, but I'm pretty much self-taught. I've had a course in Thailand and then an online internship with the artist that offered it, and a physical internship for a month and a half. And other than that, just yeah, find online videos on YouTube and practice on fake skin a lot and on friends and family. And I'm really grateful for my friends and family who were brave enough to receive my first tattoos.
Oh,
Yeah.
yes, yes. A
Hmm.
tricky question now for you, Tricia. Do you have to be an artist? Like, do you have to be good at art to be a tattoo artist? Or are there like AI generated tattoo designs that you could just follow along a pattern?
I mean, yeah, if you're good at tattooing, um, you can just tattoo anything. Like you put a stencil on, you just draw over it. But I mean, you still have to be good at drawing because it's like still a drawing movement and it's the machine vibrates, so you have to like counter vibrate it. And um, I I wouldn't recommend going into like tattooing if you're not an artist in the sense that you love to draw and you like designing your own tattoos or drawings. Yeah.
Okay, I am not an artist, so I was very curious about
Mhm.
that. Um,
Yeah.
and how do you find clients on the road? You did mention Bonsko and you talked to some people there.
Yeah.
And do you usually work for like certain periods of time and then you take a break or you try to work pretty steadily?
It's it goes like with the flow, I guess. Finding clients is probably the hardest part from traveling as tattoo artist for me. I mean, I know more known artists, for them it's very easy because they just have a broader audience and they are well, more known. And I promote myself. You can like run ads. And that way you can find when, so for instance, next month we're in Kalimnos. I will want to run some ads there, see if there are people who are interested, because I'm going to be there for 2 months, so it's easy to then run these ads, find people, tattoo, and like within the time spent. But yeah, finding clients is the most difficult part, I would say, for me right now.
Have you ever been to any like music festivals and marketed yourself there?
Not yet. I have thought about it. Yeah. Sometimes you also see like these stands on those festivals where they're actually tattooing. I thought that would be a nice way to yeah, be there and tattoo a little bit on the side. Yeah.
Oh, it would be very interesting. Okay,
Mm.
so I thought if I'm going to interview my first tattoo artist, I want to ask some really questions I've always wanted to ask a tattoo artist. So, what is the most intricate tattoo that you've ever done?
Intricate meaning like difficult, right? Like
Complex, like took many
complex.
hours.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah, yeah. Well, that would be on my sister-in-law.
brave
We
woman.
did she A woman, yes, a woman. And she wanted a tattoo on her ankle, like on the back of her ankle. And I had designed it symmetrical, which wasn't a smart idea from my end, because the area is like not symmetrical. It's like it's moving and um, to do a symmetrical piece there was very difficult to begin with. And then on top of that, um, it's a very painful spot, and she is very sensitive. It was a terrible session. It hurt so much for her that we had to stop halfway. And even like placing it, I had to do something with stencil and some freehand symmetrical, which is also difficult. That session took 3 sessions to complete that tattoo. And it wasn't a fun experience for her. It wasn't a fun experience for me because I was literally, it felt like I was torturing her. And you don't want to torture your sister-in-law. Like that's not a great outcome. Yeah, so that one
Grateful you were family
for
members
sure.
or
Yeah,
not have come
yeah.
back. Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow. Yeah, I know there's like there's also three-dimensional design. Like it can get so complex and
Yeah.
so many colors and things like that as
Yeah.
well.
Yeah.
Okay, what is the strangest tattoo that you've ever done?
Yeah, I've thought about this. I haven't done any strange tattoos. Not yet, at least. But I mean, I say no to tattoos I don't want. So, but no, I haven't even had requests that were like extremely strange.
I'm curious if you don't mind sharing what is like a type of tattoo that you reject doing.
Well, like eyes or mouth or tongue. I haven't had these requests, but I know that
Okay, so
people
places
tattoo
on the
them.
body. You mean places on the body. You're like,
Places,
I'm not
yes,
going to do it
yes,
there. Okay.
yeah,
Yeah. No, I
yeah.
understand that.
And I mean, I would also say no to designs that are really offensive or something like that. I wouldn't do that either.
Yeah. No, it really shocks me. I, for example, never want to get a face tattoo and just the
Mm,
places, how much pain that would be, how,
yeah,
visible it is.
yeah,
It's a thing.
it's a choice.
Yeah. Uh, definitely. In your opinion, what was the most meaningful tattoo that you've ever done?
That would have to be my wedding rings for myself and my husband. Yeah, we tattooed them on the day we got married for the law. So we did like a small one for the law, and then we're doing a bigger one to celebrate with friends and family only. Um, but yeah, that was a really meaningful tattoo, and it resembles such a strong love that we share.
Oh, that's
Yeah.
incredible. Can you describe the tattoo for us? Are there any words on the ring or just a
No, no,
matching
I can
ones,
show
I
you actually.
imagine?
Yeah,
Oh,
so it's yeah.
it's beautiful.
And
Yes.
then my husband has two straight lines. It kind of resembles our characters. He's more um assertive. He's more like he goes for it. And I'm more like water and just flowing a little bit. So in that way we match really well.
Yeah, that's fantastic. Do you have any
Mm.
other tattoos? Or what was your first tattoo that you got?
Um, well, my first tattoo was on my toe, but that was because I had an idea and it was quite a big one. It went from my back to my side to my belly. Um, my first tattoo, which was a really big one. So I decided to do like a really small lines on my toes to feel it for the first time. And then I did the big one. Um, so that was my first one. It was quite a big one. Yeah.
No, I'm still trying to imagine the pain, because I've never experienced that pain. So, um,
Yeah.
yeah. What
Yeah,
would
it's
you
not
compare
that bad. It
it to?
depends on the location and how big it is, obviously. But it's okay. The longer you're in a session, the less you are able to resist it, but it's okay, I think.
Hey, thank you for sharing that. So, would you say you have a particular tattoo niche? Or do you think it's important for people to have a niche as a tattoo artist?
I mean, I think so. There are enough who don't have a niche. Um, but there are so many tattoo artists. I think it's good to have something to differentiate yourself with. I think that's correct English. Um, so my niche is freehand line work, which means normally you stencil design on the body and then you tattoo it. And what I really love is the freehand line work is it accentuates the body. So I draw directly on the skin and you're just able to accentuate for the specific body you're drawing, like the elements you want to accentuate on it. And then after you've made the lines on the skin, you tattoo over them. Um, and I like how it can be a little bit more 3D. So I did one on the ankle that goes like around, and you can stencil it as well, but because you draw it directly on it, you can just completely align the features of the body. And not everybody's the same. So you can really just just draw around it and with it.
Fantastic. So I'm curious from the business side a little bit more. You were saying you were spending some time now just drawing designs. Is there a
Mhm.
marketplace that exists for if you're just drawing designs? I know it also is just like selling art on different places, but is there a
Yeah,
place for tattoo artists where they can sell designs to other artists?
not really. Um, for as far as I have seen, like the marketplace for tattoo artists is Instagram and having like a good profile that just shows your designs, your tattoo skills, your personal character, and just create a following online. There's not a platform where you can offer your, yeah, your designs or your tattoos.
Okay, so definitely Instagram is the best
Yeah,
or most common place.
yeah,
Nice.
yeah.
And I know this really varies. I'm wondering though, as like a traveling tattoo artist crossing many borders, what is your average price, let's say for like, or you do you think someone should charge on average for a small tattoo, medium versus large tattoo?
No, I think you should base it on the complexity of the tattoo, and the experience of the artist. So it diverse. Yeah, it's very diverse.
So much.
I
Yeah.
wouldn't I wouldn't say a number. No.
Okay. So you just
I
up
mean, I'm sure
say,
there are artists who can say that, but I wouldn't. Yeah.
okay. No, it's I
Mm.
always wondered that because again, I have no
Mm.
knowledge of this. Also, I'm wondering if you've noticed, like, have there been any developments in tattoo technology, so to speak? Has the industry come out with like better ink, or you're talking about
Mm.
needles? You noticed any changes in
Yeah.
the last 10 years, let's say?
I mean, I've been doing this for 3 years, so not really. I know
Okay.
that when you look back like 10 or 15 years, then yes, there have been major developments, especially from like the machines that you now have, these portable battery machines. They make it like super easy to bring your machine and your needles. Um, so that's probably the biggest one, I think.
Okay. Yeah. Always interested because I know with AI and all the things that have been going on, it seems like in the
Yeah.
last just even 2 years,
Yeah.
we're
Oh,
we're
well,
progressing.
actually, now that you're saying that, I have seen a video of a machine tattooing. So maybe they'll take this over as well.
No,
Yeah, who knows?
no, that is, I mean, I guess it's not surprising when you say it, but
No.
that's not
Yeah.
not something I thought that a machine would take.
I hope people will want like the artistic part of a human doing it, but who knows? I mean, if it's going to be super cheap and better than what I can do, then I'm sure it will eventually.
But the machine
We'll
will
figure it
not,
out.
I know the machine will not reach it will not be in every place that you are and you can travel and, people can find you there.
Yeah.
So, yeah, well,
Mm, for sure.
Tricia, thank you so much for enlightening me. I hope the audience has also been enlightened if there's things
You're
you never knew
welcome.
or thought about in the world of traveling tattoo artists. Is there anything else that you would like to share with us before we go?
Probably that I'm now expanding my portfolio and offering free tattoos. It has to be in the freehand style, which I want to expand. But yeah, that would be and obviously please follow me. I think you will post them on this somewhere on this video as well.
Yes, we're going to share the link so you can see Tricia's art as well and her tattoo designs.
Mhm. That
And
would be really nice.
is there any other place that you would like people to follow you? I'm imagining Instagram was the first place to go.
Instagram's first place, and via Instagram you can find my website as well. So Instagram and my website would be the two best places to find me.
All right. And for those listening, what is the name of your Instagram account? AI.
A
Wait,
I R A dot
AIRA
tattoo.
dot tattoo.
Yeah,
Okay. And
yeah.
we will put that in the description below. Thank you
Thank
so
you.
much, Tricia. It has been a pleasure to speak with you, and I hope you have
Yeah,
a
thank you for
wonderful day.
having me.
Thank you.
You